What a game we witnessed, and I don't know where to start from because there's so many things to talk about. I mean, first things first, India won another T20 game by a margin of 46 runs. That's no less than an innings defeat in Test match cricket, and with the consistency that the Indian team is doing it, and keeping in mind that this is their final game, proper game ahead of the T20 World Cup, really augurs well for this Indian team going ahead. I think it is really a signal, a warning sign for the rest of the teams in the competition. So a timely win, and that too a dominating win at that. But as I said, so many things to talk about that also leave you confused. I mean, 496 runs scored in total, which is the second highest in T20 cricket history, which tells you that we saw a run fest. And then you would have imagined that it may have been a close encounter considering almost 500 runs scored. But no, it wasn't. Just tells you how dominant the other team was. Talking about, the funny things in the game, we have a situation in that 496 runs. Jasprit Bumrah going for almost 15 runs and over in his 4 overs. I mean, when is the last time we saw that? The fact that he's gone wicketless and Rinku Singh has picked up a wicket again tells you what a game we've had. It's a game of highs and lows. It's a game of contrast that we've witnessed. But before I get into the nitty gritties, I know everyone is going to be focusing on Ishan Kishan, the man of the match, as well as Arshdeep saying his performance. I'll get to that a little later, but let's start with the fact that India has won. And I think what this game also tells you, not just that India are the best T20 team in the world, that's something that I've been telling you quite often in my match report, but I think the one thing that this particular match tells you, or this particular series tells you, 225 that New Zealand get, by no stretch of the imagination is it a bad score. It's a good score. Yet they've lost by 46 runs. And I think this is what this particular series has brought to light. This particular series has told us that other teams are good. Other teams can have a good day, like a Finn Allen had today. On a other day, there could be another batsman from any other team that will have a good day and score a blistering 80, 90. Some might even score 100. The fact is, on their good days, they are reaching 220, 225, which till the longest time in T20 was well above par. I'd even go as far as to say till very recent times, it was a very, very good score. What this Indian team has told us that if you're not touching 250 plus, 260, if you're not reaching that range as India has shown, 208 once New Zealand got, India chased it down in 16. India got 250 almost in one game, 238, 240, and New Zealand could not chase it down. 225 they get today, where India's got 271. What this is telling you, that if you have to beat India, even something which many thought was more than enough to win in the 220 range is not going to be enough. This team is operating in the 240 to 270 to, dare I even say, 300 range. And I'm not even saying this series has just reinforced that. I'm just saying this has been India's trend for the last year and a half. Forget those games that you see in the Asia Cup in UAE. Those are low scoring pitches. You're not going to get those sort of pitches in the T20 World Cup. You're going to get these sort of pitches, or the pitches that we saw in South Africa, or the pitches that you get in England, all those places where India has been doing well. So what this Indian team is telling you, got to raise your benchmark very high. It's telling the opposition's team, move there. There has been a bit of a hiccup that India had in the particular series where they lost the fourth game. And I think this game is also a template, as I said, for the rest of the teams to see, even for Indian fans to see, that this is the amount of runs India will score, and also a template of this is the 11 that India will play. I think India played their absolute right 11, or the 11 they should be playing, or do I think the 11 that they will be playing with, barring one exception. Of course, Tilak Verma is injured. He should come in. On whose place? I'm going to address that a little later. But I think two things that we've identified from this game, that last match you had a hiccup where you could not chase a big enough total, was also down to the balance of the team. You were experimenting, only batting till 6. This batting till 8 with Akshar Patel coming in at 8. I think this is India's perfect 11. Two fast bowler, Jasprit Bumrah, Arshdeep, Varun as your lone spinner. Akshar is the second all-rounder spinner that you have. Hardik as the all-rounder medium pacer that you have. And a Shivam Dubey as a backup. This is your 11, ladies and gentlemen. India knows that. And I think from here on, they have to go ahead. I think the only doubt will be who's going to be a wicketkeeper. I'd come to that. But let's also celebrate before I get to the man of the match. And I know everyone's going to be talking about Ishan Kishan. I want to take the sides of the bowlers because Arshdeep Singh picking up 5 wickets is no less than a century for me. In a T20I, a bowler picks 5 wickets. It's a century. So you have 2 centurions today. Arshdeep Singh and Ishan Kishan. I'll start with the bowler in Arshdeep Singh. Didn't have the greatest of starts. I think 2 overs gave away 40 runs or so. But look at that comeback that he has. Picks up 5 wickets. And you know what is the one thing I love about Arshdeep? Even after the game, he said, when I was getting smashed, when I was getting hit, I enjoyed the batting of Finn Allen. I liked the shots that he played. So, this tells you that he is a thinking bowler. He is a confident person. A lot of time when you pick, drop, get hit, you lose your sense of balance, you lose your perspective and you start underperforming. I like his, stability that he has in his thinking. He said, okay, fine. He was batting well, hitting me for good shots. I like that. That is the reason he was able to make that comeback. I think it's his mindset. And I'm a huge fan of Arshdeep Singh's mindset, and especially what he comes out to say later in the game. Of course, he admitted he could have done a few things right, but he said, it's okay. He had a good day, played well. I could have done a few things right, and I'm sure he'll fix that. So, Arshdeep Singh in form is much needed. Jasprit Bumrah had a bad day, but we know he's a class bowler, and he is going to come good. These are your 2 fast bowlers going forward. Now to the elephant in the room, Ishan Kishan. Fantastic knock by Ishan. What I'm liking is not his stroke play. We all knew what he's capable of, not just from now, since the time he's come onto the limelight, whether at the IPL level, whether at the international level. He always had big strokes, very flamboyant, can take the game away from the opposition. The one criticism you would have against him used to be consistency, but look at the consistency that is shown in this particular series. He's played 4 matches. He's only had 1 failure. I think a 70-80 odd in one game, a good 30 odd in the second game, and 100 here. Absolute brilliant. His stroke making was never in doubt. Consistency may have been. He's proven that he's going to be consistent as well. And not just this series, he's coming in to this Indian team because of his consistent performances in domestic cricket. Red hot in form. And I'm going to go with him come the World Cup. No ifs and buts. I know it's, Sanju Samson. My thoughts go to him. But he was given those 5 matches. He had his chances. If this wasn't, just right in front of the World Cup, I had time, maybe I would have given him a bit of a little bit more longer rope, because he deserves that. Sanju is a talented batter, has done well, sometimes shuffled across in the batting lineup. But I think because you're starting the World Cup, no more time for experimentations, no more time in allowing a player to get back into form. Call it harsh, call it practical, call it what you want. But I think, I was patient enough. The selectors were patient enough. The captain was patient enough. I think the coach was patient enough. I think now the time has come. 1, because Sanju is not scoring, and 2, because if you have a person in red off form as Ishan Kishan is, how do you keep him on the bench? I think that is going to be injustice. So before justice for XYZ starts, I'm saying if you put Ishan Kishan on the bench, I will start justice for Ishan Kishan campaign. He needs to start. And I think the biggest clue that we've got from this Indian team in this game, I think they've made up their mind. They're on the same page as what I'm thinking, what many of you watching me would be thinking. I think they're starting with Ishan. And the fact that he was keeping today and not Sanju Samson in the final game is an indication. I agree, he didn't have a great day behind the stumps, Ishan Kishan, but also because he's not been keeping. Give him a few more games. He's always been a keeper, natural keeper. I think he'll be fine with that. It's the batting form that he really needed to show, and he's shown that. And so for me, come the first game of the T20 World Cup, Ishan has to start. Unfortunately for Sanju, he'll now have to sit out. He again, as I said, he had those chances. One or two good knocks in this series could have turned it in his favor. He was anyway the incumbent. He would have started. Ishan would have had to wait. Unfortunately, he's not taken those chances, not grabbed those chances, and that's how the cookie crumbles. So Ishan would start. Tilak Verma, I know the only way Ishan and Sanju both might play is Tilak is not fit. But what we're picking up, Tilak is going to be fit. He will be available for the Indian team come the World Cup. So in that scenario, Tilak slots into number 3. Ishan Kishan opens. If that means 6 left-handers in the Indian team, so be it. There were times where you had, 7, 8 right-handers as well. You might as well have left-handers. Take your best batters to the World Cup, and that is with Ishan Kishan. This Indian team, top-notch, gold standard, as they've shown in this particular series. New Zealand actually have been given a reality check of where T20 cricket has moved forward. And I think via New Zealand, the rest of the world have also been given a reality check. Give us a like on the video if you're enjoying our content. Don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today. Continuous coverage continues here on the channel ahead of the T20 World Cup. Look forward to your company then. Bye-bye.